Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Last night, I was reading in bed when my husband started massaging my shoulders. You know what that means. So I quickly said, I'm way too tired for sex, babe. And he said, we only have sex like once a week. You're always so tired. And it really got me thinking, how often are married couples supposed to have sex? So I Googled it, naturally. And that's when I found the Relatable Report. It's a free resource for married couples, and it delivers research-backed relationship advice to your inbox every Friday. Check it out and sign up at relatablereport.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. How you doing?
Tickets coming up for Ghost and Volbeat. Who picks these tunes?
I really do not
Turn
know.
this up for a minute. I'm going to see. I said, hey, when you come into work New Year, they'll have a new production package.
We contacted everyone that writes music for game shows.
This is what they came up with, huh? Ghost and Volbeat tickets. Your chance to win at 420. We'll give you the secret word. Head to KISW.com, put in the secret word, and you get a chance to win those tickets. Okay, our question. How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
All right, you just read the story of the wife of the guy that's collecting all of his magic cards, right?
Yes.
Spend all his time away, spends all the money. Someone says statistically, and I believe they're actually correct, statistically, magic cards are a better investment than any savings account and most investment accounts because of your return on investment.
All right.
Someone else points out magic cards are produced in such a way that the cards are all limited runs. But then they point out lying is lying, though. Here's an interesting one. It says, I don't know if I got in trouble, but I have an addiction to bedding. That includes quilts, sets, comforters. Now, it doesn't sound bad, but I tend to get very different colors, so I have to change the curtains, the rugs, the pillows, even the wall color. I change about 6 times a year. So
wow.
Like once every 2 months.
Wow. Okay, see, I would have to step in there.
Right, you go like, look, man, give it like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, before we're going to paint and change curtains and all that. I get, if you want to get a new bedding set, great. Fresh sheets are always off. Not a complaint for me. But, like, what do you mean I got to paint the bedroom this weekend? Or we got to hang up new curtains because you got the new bed set. Then someone here, I like that, says, selling shrooms out of my trunk at the 7-Eleven. In the 1990s, I never got busted, but the guy I was selling to, he got sick, so I just quit doing it.
Okay.
Selling shrooms out of the trunk at 7-Eleven. That is so appropriate.
Mm-hmm. How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Boone. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Howdy, guys.
Hola.
Hola.
So, Boone, what's your addiction or obsession?
Oh man, this is an obsession, addiction, whatever. I got so into skydiving when I was 21. I was bartending, just living life like crazy. I wanted to do anything that was, out there that everyone else wasn't doing. Anyways, I got into skydiving really, really heavy, and I was going twice a week, jumping 4 times a day.
How much does that cost, by the way? Is it per jump, or is it... So, in other words, if you jump 4 times a day, do I pay per jump, or do I just pay one solid fee?
Man, it's pretty cool. It's per jump. Once you get certified, it's per jump. And, I was certified in 11 jumps. And then once you're certified, you just pay, you put your name on the chalkboard, and depending on how many thousand feet you go up, you kind of go up with the group, so everybody kind of jumps out at the same time. But 2 guys might go up another 2,000 feet, so you jump out, and then they go for a couple more loops and get it higher and then jump out. But yeah, it's only like $14 or,
Oh, that's not bad. What is what's the benefit of jumping from higher other than you spend more time in the free fall, or is that it?
I don't know. Honestly, my opinion is it gives me a lot more comfort knowing that I got a lot more time to get out of a mess.
Okay, that's a good enough reason.
Now, did you get geeky enough where you went out and you bought your own chute and your own equipment?
Okay, so this is what happened. So So I was renting all the way up to my 42nd jump, and I rented their parachutes, out of Capelson. They're great people. They're great equipment, everything. I had this one pack that I loved. It was always the one that I picked whenever I jumped. And so I went to grab my pack and off the wall, and I was doing a buddy check with my buddy, and he said, "Oh man, look at your closing loop." And that's the little, paracord that holds down the 4 flaps and your pin goes through it. And that's what holds all of your life and everything in there.
Okay.
And he goes, look at your closing loop. It's got like 2 threads hanging, and that's all that was holding it. And I go, oh crap. And everyone's like, you guys got to get out there on the plane. There's 18 people waiting for us to get out there to make 20. And I got my girlfriend sitting in the jump seat because she wants to watch me skydive before she'll go. And so he goes, dude, just put it on and let's go. And I go, are you kidding? And he goes, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? It would be cool because you could just pull your reserve. And so I said, screw it. So I said, okay. So I jumped on the plane. We were the last ones out. And I'm peace signing to my girlfriend as I bail out of the plane on my back. And so, I'm already out of the plane, free falling for maybe a second or two, and something just whacks me on my elbow. And when you're falling in the sky, you don't want to hit anything. And it was the most creepy feeling in the world. And I tried to flip over, and by that time, it wrapped around my left wrist, and it just like a boa constrictor. I was sailing down, spinning so fast that my right arm and my right leg were straight out, horizontal. And I could not even pull my arm in to try and grab the lines. And I just it was so freaky that I got all the way down to about 700. They guessed maybe 500 feet. And they saw me coming in, and everyone that was down at the drop zone, they were all like freaking out, thinking they were going to watch me go in for a digger. And at the very last second, I worked with my hand all the way up my jumpsuit and got it underneath my wrist. And I couldn't even see because the lines were tied so tight that it pushed my head down. Like I had a noose around my neck. And so I just gave it one tug and yanked my knees up and tried to do an inertia, and pull it, and it popped free. And I had like 2 glad bags above my head just wrestling with each other. And it was no parachute whatsoever. And I started looking for pine cones and treetops to grab onto, and I grabbed the nearest treetop, and I grabbed that thing so hard, and I broke the top off, went to the tree about 15 feet. My parachute caught on the broken part of the tree. Then, and that ripped my junk and everything hurt so bad because it just went from however fast to 0 instantly. And then I looked up and my parachute started ripping open, and I rode all the way down around my parachute went around the tree, and it made me land standing up. And I was in so much shock that I just tore all my gear off and started running through the field. And some little kid that was on a YZ-80 came flying up next to me, and I was like Forrest Gump. I'm running the opposite direction of the drop zone. I don't know where I'm going. And he just goes, get on. And I go, oh, okay. And I jumped on the back of we're on this little YZ-80, and my knees are hitting molehills. I'm just dragging all the way there. And I came back around the corner on this bike, and everybody was hugging, and some people were crying. And I came around the corner, and it was it was one of the best experiences I ever had.
Sounds
horrible. So did you go buy
my life?
Did you go buy your own chute then? Did you go buy your own gear after that?
Everything brand new the next day.
All right, okay.
So are you still jumping then, I'm guessing?
I haven't been jumping in a few years, but I'm all for it, man. If you guys want to go, I'll go.
How many jumps do you have under your belt now?
I have 121.
Dang. Wow.
What's the highest?
I jumped all the way.
What's the highest?
16.5 or 17.5, and it was we were free falling for so long that I actually started getting bored. I was like, wait, what do you do? We were chasing each other around, and then we just kind of laid on our backs, and then we looked at each other, and then we just rolled over and pulled our chutes, and yeah, it was kind of, and that's that was $25 or $30 for that high of a jump.
That's not bad.
How long is the free fall? If you jump from that high, how long is the free fall before you finally open the chute?
Okay, so just a rule of thumb, it's about 10 seconds for the first 1,000 feet you fall. And then after that, you get up to terminal velocity, and you're falling about 1,000 feet every 5 seconds.
Okay.
So, it's close to a minute or, I don't know, do the math. It's been so long that it's a long time. It feels like a really long time.
What made you stop?
It's a lot.
What made you just give it up for a while?
I gave it up because my friend, the only guy I would jump with, he came on a Saturday and said, "Hey, Mike." And I go, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, "I'm getting married." And I go, "Oh, are you kidding?" And he goes, "Yeah, what?" And I go, "Well, you better enjoy skydiving today."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'm not going to let her change my life and change everything I love." And he never did that.
Yeah, famous last words.
And you never saw him again.
Right.
Never.
I got a friend like that, too.
I got a couple buddies that, like, getting married didn't change it, but then they had a kid, and it's like, got to sell the motorcycle, got to do this.
Kids are the game changer, man. Like, the person who marries you, they know who you are. They know exactly. As Castle says, you know where the train's going when you buy the ticket. You can bitch about it, you can piss and moan about it, but like, yeah, but this is who I am. And then subsequently, you're in the same boat. You know, my wife,
Right.
She is who she is, but right, once you have kids, you're like, man, oh man, oh man. There's just certain things you don't do, or let me rephrase that. There's certain things you don't do as often.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put it there. No, I never owned a motorcycle. I get that. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing about the kid. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I ride a motorcycle, man. I know it's dangerous. I'm not worried about it. But then you have a kid, and you're like, God damn it. Yeah. I should be here for you, I guess.
I almost got, that's one of the reasons I never really rode my scooter too much, is just because I had 2 really bad scares. And after that, I was just like, man, and it's always somebody else. I mean,
sure,
not going that fast. It's just somebody pulls out in front of you and you realize, man, that was close. You know, like, this is just, even if I'm just making a quick run to the grocery store, doesn't mean it's not as dangerous as, taking a long ride on a Sunday afternoon.
I mean, but you laid it downtown in front of a bus. Right?
Oh, I did,
because of
the train tracks.
Yeah, the train tracks.
I got in the trolley tracks because my
Those
tires
things are
were
dangerous.
And almost got run over by a bus.
By a bus.
That'd be enough for me. Like, I'm out.
That was a bad day.
Yeah.
That was a real bad day. I mean, when I got home, I was shaking. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
I had one going downhill in West Seattle, right? Because you got to go, even when the bridge was open, on a 50, you got to go underneath.
Yeah.
But you know how sometimes, like, in a lane, there's just, like, a rut?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, man. I just got in it and got, like, the speed wobbles. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I did not. Yeah, I was like, that scared the crap out of me.
Yep.
Oh, it will. Mm-hmm. Every time. Hello, Eli. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola. So, Eli.
Ready to hear my shameful story?
Sure.
Yes.
Ooh, particularly if it's shameful, yes.
Awesome. Well, this was about 8 years ago. I was still going to college in New York. And over in New York, they have this stuff that they don't have exactly over here called powdered heroin.
What's it called?
And powdered heroin.
Oh, powdered heroin.
Oh,
Okay.
powdered heroin.
Yeah, number 4.
Okay.
And so I was in the throes of an opiate addiction, and my parents called and said, "Hey, we're going to Disneyland. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, well, nothing's really going great here. Spending time with family is probably the best thing I can do at that point in time. So I said, sure. And to this day, I still don't know what happened. But I flew into John Wayne Airport in California, and I went and checked my bag because it was time for a poke, and there was no bag to be found. And so I don't know where it got lost or where it got dumped out at, or if the TSA agent just grabbed it and didn't say anything. But yeah, I was hurting for about 3 or 4 days, and it turned out to be the thing that turned me around.
Are you saying, like, your luggage or, like, your bag of drugs was missing?
Oh, no, like my bag of drugs.
So basically, you went through all the withdrawals and all the nightmare that comes with that, particularly when it's unexpected.
But if I'm going to go to rehab, what's wrong with Disneyland?
I think I'd want drugs.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's going to be bad one way or another.
That's exactly what my dad said. Because there's no way you can hide it at that point. Going cold turkey, and I was like, well, yes and no, but Did they know you were on drugs before you started going through withdrawals at Disneyland? No, I had been
had been in New York going to college for the last 3 years, and almost 4 years at that point. That was the spring break before graduation. And so, yeah, they had no clue, and all of a sudden something wasn't quite right.
And were you shaking, sweating? Were you being an a-hole? Like, what was the real giveaway to your parents?
Yeah, shaking, sweating, in and out of the bathroom. You get these, like, convulsive cramps. But the thing that saved me, and kind of the reason that I called, is there's this stuff called kratom that you can get at, like, a smoke shop or online. And it's a powdered leaf, and it has just enough opiate material in it to hold off or stave off most of the withdrawals for even like a hardcore addict. And it comes in pills or powder, and you end up having to take like 10 pills or so. But I discovered that on the second day there of 3 days, and that ended up being how I was able to get off.
So you've been clean ever since, then?
Yeah. Well, it took a good 9 months. After that, I tried methadone. I tried a lot of other stuff trying to get off and talking to different programs, but that was the turning point. And within a year, I was clean.
Well, good, man. That's however you get there, you get there. I mean, I'm sure everybody's got an individual story about it. But
you ever see like Mickey Mouse and you're like, Mickey saved my life?
Mm-hmm. I just think
there's like a PTSD that's associated with it, just because that's such an intense, it's just super intense, and so anything that reminds you of it kind of just makes you shudder a little bit.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely.
Okay, well, hell, I mean, it worked.
I'm glad it worked out, man.
Yeah, I am too. That's crazy.
I don't know if that would, knowing how I am, I don't know that I'd have the same story.
No.
Like, lost my bag, got to Disneyland, lost my mind, got arrested, now back on drugs again.
Sure. And you, man, normally when the TSA goes through your bag, they leave a letter. I mean, I've had many times where
I've had it too.
But if they're taking your illegal
but if they're stealing your drugs,
I don't think they're going to leave a letter like, yo, man, we got your stat. Basically, they're doing you a solid because, you know, the challenge is like, do you really want to contact us because you're worried that one of our agents stole your illegal drugs, or do you want to let it go?
Where's the horse?
That's why I said, like, if I went into my kid's bedroom and they had, I don't know, if they're underage and I found a bag of weed, like, yeah, I'm going to smoke their weed. And we could look at each other across the table and be like, anything you want to say? Like, do you want to come to me, tell me that you...
This is some stank stuff, man.
I'm smoking your weed. What are you going to do
about
about
get this from, man? Don't buy from this kid again.
But that happens with drugs a lot. Like, when people are moving drugs, like, on airplanes and stuff, like, yeah, people just don't pick up the bags.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they know they have it. It's like, all right, like, you can roll the dice, but, like, if you want to go over to that desk and ask them for it, sure.
You can.
If not, you just take the loss and stay out of jail.
I told you, I got pulled over once, and the guy had 5 joints on me. None of them been smoked. But anyway, he's going to let me go. And he's walking away from the car, but he's like, hey, you need to give me the 5 joints so I can enter these into evidence. And I'm nervous, you know, so I'm like, yeah. And then kind of sitting in the car for a second, watching him walk back. I'm like, excuse me. So, like, I'm not trying to get arrested to make this difficult. You've been very cool, but I'm not under arrest. Therefore, there is no evidence, and you got 5 joints. And he's just kind of looking at me. I said, look, I don't care. Can I just get 2 back? You keep 3. This didn't happen. He stares at me for like another 5 seconds, just hands me 2 joints, says, have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Right, because at first, I mean, I was nervous. It's like, oh, man. And then I'm like, wait a minute, man. There's no evidence. You're just going to smoke weed.
How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, V. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Long-time listener, guys. You guys do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Just want to let you guys know.
Appreciate it.
So, not really an addiction, but me and my best friend, we like doing dumb stuff in the mud with vehicles, you know?
Okay.
You know, whipping donuts and jumping them and plowing into trees or whatnot.
Do you have specific vehicles for doing this?
Oh, the best one we found is like a late 90s Ford Explorer.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay.
All right.
They just rip it, you know? And they're cheap. You can find them for $300-400, and that's what we did. So me and my buddy went out and found this rig, and we were a lot younger. We thought we were super smart. It's like, yeah, we'll use my name on the title or the bill of sale, but we'll put your address. My buddy's like, yeah, let's do it. So not even 24 hours goes by, and we're out there whipping donuts. But the kicker is, we figured the best place to do it in the middle of the night where they'd never look is half a block away from the police station.
Yes, they'll never look.
Big open field that was just full of trees and rocks and mud, and it was a blast. So the night we bought it, we went out there, we did a bunch of donuts and jumped it and just plowed a bunch of stuff over. It was great. The next day, after I get off of work, I go pick up my buddy. I was like, hey, let's go grab the Ford. Let's go do some more donuts. That was awesome. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So we're out there plowing through this field, and my buddy screams at me. He's like, hey, dude. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, go for the bigger trees. I'm like, okay. So I gun it, and we're out there hooting and hollering, right? So I gun it. Next thing you know, I wake up. He wakes up. Airbags are off, and the horn's going like crazy at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we both get out of the car. We're jumping and scrambling, figuring out what we're going to do with this horn, right? Because we're, like I said, half a block from the police station. And we look back, and it turns out we hit this boulder going like 45 miles an hour that launched our car 30 feet and put us in this little ditch. And we thought we got away scot-free, right? It's just an abandoned field. No one's there. It's covered in trees, whatever. The next day around 9 a.m., my face is all bloody. My teeth are all loose. My nose is swollen. My face is all swollen. My buddy's dad calls me. He's like, hey, man, the cops just showed up at the house.
Uh-oh.
I was like, oh, no. So we were fully expecting to, for me at least, because it was my name, right? We were fully expecting for us to, like, have a warrant or be in trouble or whatever. So I told my buddy, I was like, hey, man, you know what? We can't, run from this. They have our address. They have my name. They have our phone numbers and everything. So I said, just drive me to the police station, and whatever it is, right? We got the bail money if they put me in jail. We got this, we got that. Just take me to the police station. So he drives me in there, and I tell him, hey, you guys came to the house earlier and looking for me, right? They're like, oh, yeah, wait right here. So they bring out a couple officers, take me into this room and do like a full investigation on me. And I was like, guys, if you go from this back section, there's no signs that say no trespassing. And the cop looks at me and goes, how in the heck did you get your car up there? I was like, oh, it was easy. He goes, please explain it to me. I said, well, you hit this turn going about 35, 40, and you just launch it over this bank. And he goes, and is anybody hospitalized? Because there's a lot of blood. I said, no, you see my face? He goes, yeah, it's all from you. I went, oh, yeah. He goes, dude, you are lucky to be alive, and don't ever do it again. Get out of my office.
All right.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's all you want,
man. That is not bad at all.
Right. And then we had to go down to Mary's Towing, obviously, and figure out the car situation. And the guy goes, yeah, dude, this thing is tatered. I was like, yeah, I know.
That's why I bought it.
He goes, absolutely. I was like, take it, it's yours. So we didn't have to do anything with the car. It got towed, didn't pay the bill or anything.
Nice.
See?
All right.
That's what we call the happy ending.
How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba.
What happened, Buford?
That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Hello, Discover here. to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
10 artists who made bank in 2021, coming on with Ryan Castle. We will sit and spin right after emails on our question. How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Joe. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola!
Hola!
About 15, 20 years ago, I was hardcore into coke and drugs.
All right.
And after a couple of days bender, went to go meet my guy about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm out waiting, and cop pulls up and asked me how I was doing, what I was doing and all. And I told him that I just got done drinking at the bar and waiting for the taxi to come pick me up. And he left. And I ended up meeting up with him about 30 minutes later, and he sold me a bunch of, baby powder.
Uh-huh.
And the come down and everything else, absolutely horrendous. And during that come down, I had the bright idea of joining the military, and so I did.
You joined the military, when you woke up in the morning?
No, I went and talked to the recruiter later the next day.
Damn.
But I told him everything, the drugs I was doing and this and that for a couple weeks, and cleaned my system out. And 2 weeks after that, I was in basic training.
Damn. That is a quick turnaround.
And you've been, drug-free since?
I smoke pot now because of the cancer and the Crohn's that I have.
Okay.
Other than that, I refuse narcotics. I got hardcore addicted to those when I first got diagnosed back in 2011, and I haven't done any other than when I'm hospitalized for.
So, are you still in the military?
No, deployed to Iraq, and I started pooping blood. And I talked to the medics, and the PA said I was taking too many supplements. And I kind of looked at him, laughed, and I'm like, I'm only taking what is suggested for my size. And a week later, I got put on quarters, and my unit tried to put me on guard shift at a gym for 12 hours off. And my platoon sergeant said, nope, go get put on a dead man profile. So basically, I couldn't do anything whatsoever. And because they didn't want me to have to deal with the BS of sitting at a chair in a gym for 12 hours.
What kind of supplements were you taking? I'm just curious.
No Explode, and I forget the other. It was like a whey protein.
Huh.
Okay.
I can't believe that messed you up that bad.
Apparently.
Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I guess it's better than doing cocaine.
I'm pooping blood.
Yeah.
In a
lot
country.
of those supplements, though, I mean, everybody took them, but then, you saw the athletes dying, this and that. Like a lot of that stuff is not good for people.
Huh. Okay. How
did you wonder?
I figured whey powder. I mean, that's just what? It's not soy, but it's whey. It's protein, right?
Sure. It just depends on what else is in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is it cut with, right?
Mm-hmm. How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
Right, because there's a difference between having a protein shake and then taking a pre-workout supplement.
Okay. Aren't people going down, not a lot of people, but some people have gone down from protein shakes, right? Too much of it.
I guess you can have too much protein.
I guess.
Tear up your insides or whatever.
I don't have that problem, so it's alien to me, but I have heard that people they OD on protein, essentially.
Okay. To me, a lot of it's just the name stuff.
What do you mean?
Sometimes some of the pre-stuff, just got crazy names. Even, the Rip Fuel or
right.
Yeah.
Some of it's I don't know. The name kind of sets it up to that there might be something in there you don't know about.
This is not food. This is not food.
Even 5 hour energy. I'm like, energy. That's a real broad term. A lot of things bring me energy. Few of those things are good.
I'll drink this energy.
Right. Yeah.
5 hour energy was always, yeah. Just because that bottle is so small.
That's the thing. You're like, it's 5 hours of energy, and that's what, like a 4 to 6 ounce bottle? Like, what is in there?
How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
I mean, if that. It's literally called a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a teeny tiny bottle with a whole lot of energy.
Yeah.
Hello, Tanner. Welcome to the midroom.
Hola, guys.
Hola.
Okay, I'll attest to that last guy. The NO explode or no explode. Yeah, that will blow out your bunghole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not good.
Okay.
No,
What is no explode?
Well, we used to call it just NO explode, but some people call it no explode. It's just a hardcore protein workout, man. And it's just kind of, I think it maybe had some creatine in it at the very beginning, but it was some hardcore stuff.
Did it get you bigger?
Oh, yeah, just water weight.
Okay.
You know, it made me look good, but yeah, it's just pre-workout. But what got me in trouble, like collecting stuff, man? Well, obviously, would say drugs, but I'm not going to be that guy like everybody else. But dude, it's antiques. I spent so much money on just random antiques.
There's no specific thing you're looking for, or specific artist or craftsperson, just random antiques?
Yeah, just random, like, little odd and ends that I like and everything. I recently had to make a report to work, and I typed it up on my 1929 Royal typewriter, and everybody thought I was like
serial killer,
like a bomber or something. Like, they're thinking I was hanging out in a cabin somewhere out in the woods. I was like, no, man, the ribbon's like $12 instead of buying, $50 worth of ink.
You know what, man? I am actually a fan of the typewriter. If I have to actually have, something I normally put through Word. And the thing, one, I like the sound, so you kind of had a cadence. But beyond that, I knew that my spelling had to be on point.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's just one of those things, because there was too much trouble with the correction ribbon and all that. But the typewriter, at least, and again, that's just me. I'm kind of anal about that kind of thing. But that is still something that can be useful, because you can still type up a list, a letter. What other antiques have you gotten that basically serve no purpose?
Oh, geez, oil cans.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
But are they worth something? I mean, look, it's one thing to go antiquing. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people do that. They just want to go and hit a couple shops and find some, find some hidden treasures. But there's every once in a while where somebody buys something at a really discounted price that's really worth something. So is there anything that you bought? It was like a lot more.
Tons of vinyls.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't, man. I'm telling you what, that's a great place to find records.
Yeah, I found one of the best ones I found. I'm not like the greatest fan of Leonard Skinner, but they're okay. But the one where the vinyl where they're still in fire.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Back street. I think it's and that's not pronounced, but one of them where the whole backlight is still in fire. Yeah, nobody knew what that was.
Do you know why? Because that's when they got into a plane crash and half of them died, and they burned to death, and they decided that was their most recent release. So they changed the album because of Ronnie Van Zant and Casey Gaines and all those people that passed in the plane crash. So but that one, I don't know how many of those are out there, but that is one of those rare albums that, if you can find one, regardless of the condition, that is still going to hold a lot more value.
I do admit, I do get into vinyl, but again, with vinyl, I listen to vinyl much more than I type, for sure. So you still feel like you get some use out of it.
Now, if I walk into your house, does it look like a hoarder's house?
No, not at all. No, it's actually all the vinyls are on shelves, all lined, alphabetical order. I played on an old 1978 JVC. It's the way to do it.
Did you find that at an antique shop as well?
No, my father gave it to me.
Oh, cool. All right. Very cool.
I got close to buying one of those probably about 2 months ago. We were looking for something else. It was only $100, man. I had the speakers and everything, and I was eyeing it up, and I'm like, I'll save this battle for another day. I'll just save the battle. But, look, but it'd be easier to get that because it's like, look, I got enough vinyl to justify buying a new turntable. The problem is you have to say a new turntable because then the question, what's wrong with the other 3 that you have located?
Oh, you have 3?
Well, there's one for one side of the basement. There's one on the other side of the bed. They're separated by a staircase. You can't possibly hear one. And then there's one upstairs in the little home office.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, why not?
Why not have another one?
Sure.
Say, for the living room.
Well, hey.
There's not one there, Miles.
I mean, collections generally aren't for money purposes.
No.
People just collect stuff because they collect it, whether it's like a band or sports memorabilia.
But that's what I was saying. I get like his vinyl thing. Typewriter has some use, but like the oil cans and stuff, I get you might collect them, but he just buys random antiques as well. So I think he has a few collections where you go like, all right, that's a collection. And then otherwise, you just have a bunch of old stuff around their house.
How did your addiction or obsession get you into a little bit of trouble? 206-421-ROCK.
And if you call it a collection, it's easier to get to the argument.
A collection.
You know what I mean? Because you go, well, no, man. I'm not just arbitrarily buying this thing that fascinates me. It's part of my collection.
I see. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Hello, Alan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So my obsession was rock climbing.
Oh.
Way back in the early 90s and rappelling off stuff.
All right.
So my buddy and I get the wise idea one night after having about a fifth of, I don't know what it was, probably Yukon Jack and Mountain Dew or something, to go rappel off the Deception Pass Bridge.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And so we park the car, get our stuff all tied off, get all our gear tied up, and my buddy goes down first, kind of right on the edge, so we're landing on land, obviously, because it's over water. And it's about, that particular section, about 150 feet, 200 feet, right around there. Well, right as I go off, a car comes around the corner, sees me go off the bridge, and we get down to the bottom, and we're all having fun because we just rappelled off the Deception Pass Bridge, which is really cool. And all of a sudden we look up, and it looks like it's Christmas up top.
Mm-hmm.
There are more lights flashing, and we're like, do we go up, or do we let them come down? We're like, well, if they come down, they're going to send a boat, and then they're going to try to find us and everything. So we hike back up to the top, and the sheriff is pissed. Just pissed. So we're like, all right, and we're sitting there, and they're waiting. Well, where we went off the bridge just happened to be on the Parks Department side. And luckily, we worked for the Parks Department, and the guy that came out knew us. So we just ended up getting a ticket for basically trespassing, throwing material off the bridge, reckless endangerment, so on and so forth.
How much did that cost you?
Well, it didn't end up costing us anything. We went to court, and we're sitting in there, and the judge calls my buddy's name, and then he calls my name, and he goes, do you guys just want to plead stupid? And we're like, we go to say something, and he's like, 10 years, $10,000, go see the prosecutor. I mean, we're in our early 20s at this point, and we're like, you've got to be kidding me. So we go across the street, and all we wanted to do was prove to somebody that we knew what we were doing, we just chose the wrong location.
Sure.
Well, so we get over to the prosecutor's office, and they put us in this room with this great big window, and this guy's walking back and forth, just shaking his head at us, just pissed off. And we sat in there for about an hour, and then all of a sudden he shows up, sits down with a stopwatch, says, go. And we're like, all right, so we dump all our gear out, tie it off to the table exactly like we had it done. And the guy he looked at every inch of everything that we had. I mean, not everything. And then turns around, looks at us, and goes, you guys ever climb down at Smith Rocks down in Oregon? But, yeah, it was one of those things where, we had a half a fifth of liquor in the back of the car, and my buddy's like, hey, I'm cold, can I go put on my coat? And the guy's like, yeah, and he starts following him over there, and I was like, oh, hey, the police officer come back over, and he hides the booze in the back, and otherwise we'd have been in even more trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the prosecutor basically just said, he goes, if you get a ticket in Skagit County in the next 5 years, he goes, I'm throwing everything at you. And we moved. So,
You moved?
Yeah. We moved to Seattle instead. So.
Okay, that's fair. Do you still rock climb or rappel?
No, I can't. I've got really bad shoulders now and all of that kind of stuff. And, yeah, otherwise I would still love to, but, yeah.
Do you think anyone else has ever done that?
What?
Not that I've ever heard of. We've never heard of anybody else getting in trouble for that. So maybe somebody else has and just hasn't been seen, but we've never heard of it. So
I had to go up there when I got my first COVID shot. I crossed that bridge, man, and it was windy. And I mean, it was, you could almost feel the bridge move in the wind.
Oh, yeah.
I've been over there a bunch of times.
Oh, my God. Like, I know my car's moving, but it feels like the bridge is doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. But the kind of the topper to that whole thing was after we got the ticket and packed up our gear and they sent us on their way, there's another set of bridges that you go that's right next to a casino. We jumped off those two.
You know about like over by like Anacortes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly.
You did the same thing again?
Yeah, not an hour later. We didn't get in trouble that time, but we were like, I'm not stopping tonight. I got stuff to rappel off of, so we went rappelled off.
I mean, I get it. I don't get it because it's not my thing, but like there's a couple of different European guys, right? Like the European Spider-Man dude, right? He gets arrested probably, once, twice a year. And it's just, this is absolutely his addiction. Like, he has it's not for like climate change or animals or human rights. It's like he does it because he likes doing it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they busted him in Moscow. They busted him, I want to say, like Dubai. They've busted him in Paris. And it's the same, to the point when the authorities show up, it's like, Jeff, we're going to let you finish, but you know when you come down, you're under arrest. Like, yeah, sorry, guys. And
adrenaline's a drug, too.
That's what I mean, man. It's just what he does.
Ryan Castle coming up. We will sit and spin. We've got 10 artists who made bank in 2021. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.